All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're not muted yet, I tried to mute everybody, but if you're just jumping on, if you're able to hit or to mute yourself, that would be great, so we can kind of limit the background noise as much as possible. I'm gonna go through a bunch of stuff here today, and afterwards I'll stay on for some questions after I unmute, in case you guys have any questions. If I haven't gotten the chance to meet you, nice to meet you. My name is Corey, and I've been coaching with Take Shape for Life now for, gosh, almost 2.5 years. So it's been quite a journey. We've learned a lot along the way, and I'm excited to get to know you a little bit more and your stories. And I know we don't have time tonight to necessarily go through the list of getting to know all of those of you who I've never got the chance to meet. I think I've gotten to meet most of you. But if you're on this call tonight, it's because you are at least a senior coach or higher. And that means you're helping at least 5 people. So that's really, really great. And just wanted to say congratulations to you. And I'm also thinking that the reason that you're here is because you are maybe potentially wanting to learn how to coach a few more. And this is kind of something I've never really done before, because normally when I do calls like this, we call them senior coach celebrations. Normally when we do calls like this, it's individual, and I can start asking some questions, because one thing that I know is everyone here is coaching for different reasons. My guess is one of the main reasons you're coaching is because you had a transformational story of yourself. You reached out to someone, you got healthy, you lost some weight, people started to notice, you wanted to pay it forward. And to the degree that you are helping others, some of us are coaching 5 people, some of us are coaching 50 people. Some of us have coaches on our team, some are brand new in this whole thing. So we're all at very different stages on this journey. But my guess is that one thing that we all have in common is that we're at least open to the idea of coaching some more people. And I also guess that when you first ordered your coaching kit, you had no clue what you were getting yourselves into, good, bad, or ugly, right? You were like, man, I want to help some people. And my coach said that if I became a coach and signed up a few people, that I could earn enough money to pay for my food. And that's kind of where I am. And now I'm in this kind of weird stage of really trying to assess, what do I want out of this? And that's kind of the point of this today. And I guess, if you're able to write some things down, then I encourage you to do so. If not, then maybe you can come back to this a little bit later on. But I think one thing that is important for you to know is really to ask yourself this question. And when I do senior coach celebrations, one of the questions I ask is, what are you loving about coaching right now? What are you really enjoying? Because I think that's an important question to answer. If you're anything like me, and my guess is, if you start your clients, which I'm just going to give you a tip of what to say when you talk to your clients. I don't know if you figured this out, but people have a tendency to be pretty negative. What that means is, if I start the conversation and say, hey, how are things going with you? Most people are going to go right into what's not working. Well, I cheated this past week, and, I didn't do plan. I didn't get all my water in, and, whatever. If you ask them an open-ended question, most people are going to steer that negative. And if I ask coaches that question, and I were to ask each and every one of you, a lot of us would say, hey, what are you, how's it going? Well, it's going okay. So-and-so said no, and, I wish I was doing more, and I wish I was coaching others. And it's just, it's ingrained in us. So one of the questions I like to ask clients a lot, and I like to ask coaches this too, like when you're on the phone, hey, what's going well? What are you loving about coaching right now? And I think that's a question that maybe you could answer on your own, even just right now. Maybe it's, I'm loving that one of my friends is getting healthy. I love it that, my neighbor has gotten healthy, my sibling, or I love the testimonies that I'm hearing from my friends or my clients, whatever. Like, what are you loving about coaching? And then the second follow-up to that is, Are you open to coaching more people? See, one of the great things about this, nobody on this call, nobody on your mentorship team is going to pressure you into doing more than you want to do. We say this all the time. We'll chart the course, you set the pace. In other words, we're going to show you what's next in your journey. You're the one that gets to determine how quickly you get there. Some of us really want to move forward and want to move forward fast. Some of us like to move a little bit slower, and that's okay. You know, all of us have lives. You got families, you got jobs, you got churches, you got whatever else. All of us have stuff going on. And the goal is not for this to just become another thing. However, I'm also guessing that all of us have some whys. We have some things that are pushing us maybe towards the desire to coach some more people. And so I think that's really the next step in this, is really determining, what do I want out of this? In an ideal world, what does coaching look like? How many people am I helping in an ideal world? How many hours a week am I investing into coaching in an ideal world? How much money am I making per month coaching in an ideal world? I think it's important for you to answer those questions. Now, I know that some of us are like, well, $6 million a month. That's what I want. I want to earn $6 million a month as a coach. What do I do? And how many people do I got to coach to earn $6 million a month? Let me just answer that by saying a mess load. That's how many. So what I think writing some of those things down and answering those questions, what do I want? And what am I willing to do to get there? And so we're going to kind of take you on a little bit of a journey today, because if you're on this call, it most likely means you're at least a senior coach. And if you're on this call and you have no clue what senior coach means, that's okay. It means you're coaching and helping at least 5 people, okay? And you potentially have a desire to coach some more. And so this progression is the next step on your journey, is to become what we would call an executive director. Now, I will go into what an executive director is in just a moment. Essentially, an executive director is someone that's working with anywhere from 10 to 20 people, depending on numbers of coaches that you have on your team. So I'm going to just kind of go through some basic stuff here, okay? And you can write this down or maybe play this back on a recording. So we work on a point system, okay? What that means is anytime you move up a rank, you get a point for that. 5 points gets you to executive director. Now, hope I don't confuse you. There's 2 ways to earn a point, okay? Number 1, write me a check for $20. I'm just kidding. That's not a way to earn a point at all. Don't do that. I'm just kidding with you. All right. The number 1 way to earn a point is every 1,200 in frontline volume that you accumulate, you will earn a point. Okay, so if you have 1,200 in frontline volume, that's 1 point. 2,400, 2 points. 3,600, 3 points. Every time you get a point, you're moving up a rank. So if you have 1,200, you're a senior coach. 2,400, you're a manager. 3,600, associate director, and so on, all the way up to 5 points being executive director. Now, the nice thing about executive director, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time with this, you're maximizing the amount of compensation that you are earning on each client. Each coach is compensated anywhere from 15 to 31% of a client's order. When you're executive director, you are maximizing the amount of compensation you are earning, not just on the clients you're supporting, but also the coaches you're working with as well. I'll get into that. If you have any questions about how compensation works, there's a whole training on that. I'm not going to get into that a little bit today. So to get to executive director, you got to figure out, how am I going to get 5 points? Now, most people utilize what we call the blended path to get to executive director. What that means is it's a combination between what I said before, every 1,200 in frontline volume. That's a way to get a point. The second way is when you have a coach on your team under you that reaches the rank of senior coach or higher. So if you have 3,600 in frontline volume, that's 3 points. 2 senior coach legs, that's 2 points. 3 plus 2 is 5. Congratulations, you are executive director. Okay, now you could have 2,400 in frontline volume and 3 senior coaches, 4,800 in frontline volume and one senior coach, or 6,000 in frontline volume and no senior coaches, that's certainly a way to, although that's not always the most sustainable. If you want to have a sustainable business, having coaches on your team is certainly the way to do that. So that just kind of is what an executive director looks like. Now, executive directors, on average, earn between $2,000 and $2,500 a month as a coach, okay? So what I think it would be good for you to do, and I'm not giving you like homework for the sake of homework today. This is all just if I desire to grow. What I'd like you to do, maybe it's now or maybe some other time here tonight or tomorrow, is I want you to figure out, okay, if I was earning $2,000 to $2,500 a month as a coach, what would that do for my family? What would you do with an extra $2,000 to $2,500 a month? Would that help you quit a part-time job? Would that help you get out of debt? Would that help you buy a car for your child? Would that help you take a family vacation? Would that, what would that help you do? Buy season tickets to the Cubs? I don't know what you'd want to do with your, but it's important for us to know that. Because I'll tell you one thing, and this is not a selfish thing, this is a human thing. Every person on this call is motivated by incentive. We all are. All of us are motivated by incentive. We kind of, if there's an incentive, and here's what I've said before, okay? If I told each of you, now please understand that I'm not saying this is if. If I told you that if you got 5 clients and brought on 1 coach this month, that I would send you and your spouse to Hawaii for 2 weeks, all expenses paid, do you think you could do it? Now, the answer to that question is heck to the yes, you could do it, right? And you know why? Because there's something on the other side that you want, right? So that's the key for all of us. We got to determine what we want. And it's not bad to want things. Sometimes, especially if you're a Christ follower, which I am too, I'm a pastor, okay? We can get caught up in this realm of it's bad to want things. It's normal to want things. It's human to want things, okay? Just because you want things doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you're a person. Maybe you want things for your family. Maybe you want money so you can give it away. We have a coach in our team who is wanting to earn some extra income so they can give more money away. I know someone on this call, and I'm not going to point him out, but he knows what I'm talking about, that wants to earn money so he can go be a missionary overseas, okay? All of us want different things. It's not bad to want things. It is bad if you don't know what you want. If you don't know what you want, you're never going to get what you want. I mean, it's really simple. So figure out what it is that you want, okay? What would $2,000 to $2,500 do for you? Now, can you earn more than that? Yeah. We earn a little bit more than that, okay? And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm telling you that there's great possibilities. But here's what I know. If you want to earn $10,000 or $15,000 a month as a health coach, you can't earn $10,000 a month before you earn $2,000 a month. They're stepping stones. You can't earn $2,000 a month until you're earning $300 a month, okay? And you're all there, okay? That's awesome. So here's the question where if you're saying, okay, I would like that. That would help my family. I would enjoy helping that many people. I desire what you're talking about. If that is what you desire, then here's a question that I think is important for you to answer. If I told you that we could help you to earn $2,500 a month, how much time would you be willing to invest a week into your coaching business if it meant you were earning $2,500 a month? Now, let's just for example's sake, I'm pulling up my calculator here. Let's just for example's sake say that you were earning $2,500 a month. You divide that by 4 weeks. That's $625 a week. And you were investing 10 hours a week into your coaching business. That essentially means that you have a part-time job earning you $62.50 an hour. Not bad, right? That's not, now you can earn a lot more than that too. So again, I'm just trying to put this into perspective here. If this is something you want, how much time are you willing to invest into getting that next goal? And the next thing would be, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, here today, but I think once you answer the question, here's how much time I'm willing to invest, then you can start working on some structure to help get you to that desired outcome. Okay. And here's what I'm gonna have you do. I know some of you are taking notes or you're sitting there. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to draw a circle on that piece of paper. Okay. And I want you to take that circle, and I know that we're health coaches, so we probably wouldn't call this pie, but there's no other way that I can describe it, so we're going to call it pie. Okay, we're going to call it Take Shape for Life, approved 5-in-1 pie. Soy pie. That's what this is. Okay, it's a bad joke. So I want you to take that circle and make 3 equal size pieces. Those 3 pieces equal the amounts of time that you're spending. So let's, for example, say that you're spending 9 hours a week as a coach. Well, then it would stand to reason that each of those pieces of that pie that would get 3 hours of your time. Because here's the thing, I'm sure some of us are like, okay, I can invest 10 hours a week into my coaching, but what do I do with those 10 hours? How do I spend those 10 hours? Well, that will change as you're coaching. Okay, the more you're coaching, the different. Sorry, that just threw me off. The more you're coaching, the way that you're spending your time will change. Okay, in other words, as a health coach, I spend my time a little bit different than many coaches do because I spend the vast majority of my time doing what I'm doing now, working with other coaches. So as you bring coaches onto your team, the way that you spend your time is going to be different. So I'm going to approach this for those that have coaches on their team and those that don't have coaches on their team. Let's start first with, let's say you are someone right now that is a coach but does not have coaches on your team. Okay? Here's the 3 things that should be staples in your schedule. If you've got those 3 time blocks, here's the first thing. Client support. In other words, you have clients on your team. It's going to take you time to work with and support those clients. Okay? And I'll go into that, what that looks like in just a little while. If you're wondering, my wife did a great training on how to support clients. It's really, really good. I'll get into that in just a little while. But here's what we do. Okay. And this has been very successful for us. This is just a tip on supporting your clients. What we do when somebody when somebody becomes a client, somebody's off mute here. There we go. When someone first starts the program, we think it's very important that you personally talk to them for their first 4 days, even if it's 3 to 5 minutes. You as the health coach, they should be hearing your voice. I know that with these things, it's really easy to just via text check in once a day. Hey, how you doing? And that's great. We have daily text. You should send daily text. That's awesome. But for the first 3 or 4 days, let them hear your voice. If you remember anything about the first 3 or 4 days, they weren't fun, right? You're hungry, you're irritable, you got a headache. Your clients are experiencing all those things. So they need to hear from you. Now, the nice thing is the scale's moving pretty fast for them too. So you've got something to encourage them with that. After they get through their first week, we support our clients 1 day a week. We call them 1 time, 1 day a week, 3 to 5 minutes each call. Don't let them sit on that call and do a counseling session for 4 hours. Okay, they're going to want to. And we all got those extra grace required clients. Okay, every one of us have a client that requires a little bit extra grace on our part to deal with said client. Okay, we all got those. So what we do and what we strongly suggest you do is find a day or time that works best for you. Not what works best for your clients, what works best for you to support your clients. For me, it's Mondays between 1 and 3. I support about 25 clients in 2 hours on a Monday afternoon because I can call all of them and I'm on the phone with them for 5 to 6 minutes. Now, I get voicemails sometimes. I leave them voicemails. I'll record that. And then what I also do is any of my clients that I did not get a hold of Monday, I will call back again Friday. Okay. So I pick 2 slots because I know that the same time doesn't work for everybody. So for me, that's how we support our clients. And this is what I'll tell you. So clients that are supported well are more likely to do 3 things. Number 1, stick with the program. Okay, if you've got a whole bunch of clients that are one and doners, meaning that they order 1 month and then quit, it might be because you're not supporting them very well. Okay, now that's not a condemnation to anybody. We've all been there, and you could be the best coach on the planet and some people are still going to quit. Okay, so don't take that personally. But it's a way for us to evaluate and say, okay, am I supporting?
Which stinks because our kids.
There we go. Okay. Am I supporting them that, well? So clients that are coached well, much more likely to do 3 things. Stay on the program, refer people to you because they're getting great service from you. You want referrals? Be a good coach. And then number 3, decide to become a coach themselves. And my guess is all of us would say, man, it'd be great if all of my clients became coaches. Well, it doesn't always work that way. What our math tells us is that usually 1 out of every 5 clients will pay it forward and become a health coach. And so those are just a few tips on supporting your clients, okay? The second pie piece would be acquiring new clients. Having conversations, doing follow-up, doing a 100 list. If you don't know what a 100 list is, go to the Baker Coach page or Schatzline Coach page if you're on that. Look in the Files tab. There's 2 videos that are there. The 12 action step training and the 100 list training. It basically talks about, and that's where a lot of us are at. We're saying, how do I go and talk to people about the program? Do I just go through my Facebook, find the 100 biggest people and say, hey, you're heavy, I got something for you? Not recommended, by the way. I don't think that's a good idea, okay? But how do you do that? This is kind of a sensitive thing, right? How do you walk up to somebody and say, hey, you want to lose some weight? I mean, you can't say that, right? How do you do that? How do you take what we have and offer it to people? That's kind of an awkward thing. We can help you with that. We can help you learn how to start conversations, and it's all organic. It's all relational. That's the beautiful thing about this. We've coached probably 300 to 400 people in 2 years. I can't think of one person that hasn't approached us first. But we've done a good job of branding ourselves so that when those people in our life are ready to get healthy, and that's my mission. My mission is to rebrand myself on social media and otherwise so that when people in my spheres of influence think to themselves, I need to get healthy, I'm sick of looking the way that I look, I need to do something about it, they think to themselves, I got to call Corey. And that's what we do. We are branding ourselves. We are positive. Okay, if you look at my social media, it's positive. I don't get into political stuff too much. I don't get in arguments. I try to keep my Facebook a positive place. I want to be attractional. And that's live an attractional life. I talked to somebody about that recently. And we talked about that. We said, hey, are you living an attractional life? Right? Am I living a life that others want to emulate? So that's a soapbox for me. So new clients, sharing the program, working the 100 list. That's a big portion. If you're a newer coach, that's probably going to be the biggest pie piece is new clients. Okay. The third piece would be, and this is for people that don't have coaches on their team yet, training. Okay. I think training, if you desire to grow to the next level, I think adding 1 to 2 hours a week of training is hugely important. Now, the awesome thing about all of our trainings, they're always recorded. So if you see some trainings and you're like, I can't be on that one live, that's okay. You can watch the recording. Now, if you've been on these pages a while, you probably realize we have a mess load of trainings. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. You're like, oh my gosh, there's like a training every day. There's like one every hour. How am I supposed to know which ones I'm supposed to be on? It kind of like how am I supposed to grow a business if all I'm doing is getting on trainings? Okay, I get it. So I've got a little slide that I made here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. I don't know if you have if you have a phone or you're doing a computer, you know how to screenshot. If not, this is available on all the coach pages. But there's some training on Monday nights. Great training. Company does it. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I'd highly recommend it. If you were putting in like orders of priority and you're asking me what is the most important training for where I'm at, I'll start with this. Thursday night, Valentine team training. Dan Valentine's my coach. 8:30 Eastern. So that's right after this. We'll be done in time. That's the best training for you to be on. The best. Okay. I strongly suggest it. It's going to really help you to, one of my favorite quotes is what you feed grows and what you starve dies. If you want to be more excited about coaching, you got to feed your coaching self. These Zooms will help feed your coaching self. Okay. So 8:30, somebody's not on mute. I can't tell who it is, but got him. Okay. 8:30, the Monday night, company training, that's great too. Another thing that I will plug, and if you were invited to this, you would have gotten an email about this. But there is something called a boot camp that we're doing called Accelerate that starts this Saturday. It'll run for 5 weeks, and you have to be a manager or above. So that's 2 points. You had to have been a manager or above in February to qualify to be on that training. If at all possible and you qualify for that training, highly suggest being on that training. And there is one stipulation or kind of one homework assignment that if you want to be on that training, you have to fill out a map. Now, I'll talk about that in a little bit. If you want to be on that training, you need to send your map into your closest FIBC is. If you don't know who your FIBC is, send it to me, okay? If you don't know who I am, then we got some problems. Those are the ones I'd recommend. Start with the Valentine training. If you can do one training a week and that's all you can do, get on the Valentine training. If you can add another one in, for those of you that are 2 points or higher, this boot camp for the next several weeks is really going to be of assistance to you. Everybody else, listen, I know we can get caught in training land, but you will find that those trainings are incredibly helpful. Now, for those of you that have, I'm going to go through this quick. If you have coaches on your team, your pie chart will probably look like training in one quadrant, client support and client support and coach support in one training, in one section, new business in another. So you got to figure out, if you have coaches on your team, how are you spending time with the coaches on your team? So again, we can talk more about that if you have questions. Now, I am going to try and put in the chat a couple things about the map. Okay, I talked about the map. Essentially, a map is a roadmap to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Okay, I suggest everybody on this call, we don't normally talk about the map until a person's senior coach or above, but since you all are senior coach and above, this will be great for you. So I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to put in the chat several different links. This first link is the map. Okay, you can go to that link, copy that. Just if you're on your phone, find in the chat, copy that link, go find out where that map is, find a way to print it out. If you're on a phone, if you're on a computer, this is a map. Find this, print it out. Now you might be like, what in the mess am I supposed to do with this map? I'll talk about that in a second, because the next video that or the training I'm gonna put on here is map training. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll print out your map and watch that video. That video will show you how to fill out your map. And the map is great because it talks about where you are currently. It asks you to identify where you want to go, and it gives you the steps of how to get there. It's really, really great. The last thing that I want to show you is we have a phenomenal resource, and I don't really talk through this with most people until they reach where you're at, which is senior coach. But that last link is called Simple Systems. There's a lot of great resources for you as a health coach. It's going to be overwhelming when you look at there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's like Trilogy, there's like share calls and information to coach your clients better. There's a lot of stuff. Don't get too overwhelmed by looking at it. I'm just saying that as a coach, now what I do is I have this link for Simple Systems on my shortcuts for my phone. So I can just go right here and make a shortcut, and I have access to that Simple Systems anytime I want to. Okay, so that's just an idea for you. And then the last thing that I'll say is, if you want to grow, stay connected to your coach. Some of our coaches that are growing the fastest, I text or talk to every day. And you're not, I can assure you, I can promise you that if you're wanting to grow, you are not bothering your coach by reaching out to them more. You're not. They are, and the way that I can prove that to you is, let's say the roles were reversed and you have a coach on your team and they're texting and calling you saying, will you please help me to grow? Are you going to be annoyed at that? No way. Because you're saying, I want to help you grow. And so it's true in reverse. Your coach is there to assist you. We are here to assist you. And so I think those things hopefully are helpful tools to say, if your goal is to get to this place of executive director, coaching 20 to 25 people, or 15 if you have some coaches, earning $2,000 to $2,500 a month, if those things are beneficial, hopefully these tips that we've gone through today give you a little bit of incentive or understanding of what it's going to take to grow. And so hopefully those were some things that helped. I'm going to stop the recording and